What's up, guys? My name is Ed. This is Marissa, and this is Distant Critics. We got a good one for you guys today because the press team for the movie Plan B reached out to us and said, can we do a review for that movie? And damn it, here we are. Now, before we get into it, we want to let you guys know that this review might contain some spoilers, but by all means, go ahead and check out the movie. You can see it on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Freevee, all those platforms, and come back to the comments and let us know what you thought about the movie yourself. And without further ado, Marissa, can you tell us about the plot?
When a one-night stand with her awkward neighbor leaves her pregnant, a young woman decides to quickly sleep with a successful businessman and tell him he's the father of her unborn baby. Ed, let me tell you, okay, let's not get this movie twisted for the 2021 film Plan B, right, with the high schoolers. You don't want to get it twisted with that one. Right off the bat, this movie has 2 nominations with the Mammoth something film festival. And one of the nominations was 2024 Best Actress featuring Jamie Lee. And I'm going to be honest, I honestly think that that is a good nomination. I feel like Jamie Lee had these emotions within her acting, and I love seeing these emotions that these actors and actresses embody, and I feel like she did that to the fullest. Like, she was giving me different faces, and she was giving me different, like I said before, like emotions, different elements within her acting, and I really, really appreciate that. Now, to go on to John Heder. To go on to John Hetter's side, he's a bigger named actor, right? And I feel like he had so much more to bring to the table. Like, I wanted to see that Blades of Glory, Bench Warmers, Napoleon Dynamite comedy element into this movie. And I just feel like the director just kind of like dimmed his light a little bit, and he wasn't able to shine and show us that. And you barely see him throughout the movie. He's there, and I think that's about as much as you'll get him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's there. He's good.
Yeah, you get glimpses of that type of humor throughout the film. It's very much like a Parks and Rec type of humor and comedy mixed with like a Tubi quality. And John Heder, I agree. I think he could have done a little bit more, but maybe it was the script that was probably holding him back from showing a little bit more of that comedy element to it. But low key, like you were saying, this movie does have a loaded cast. You have people like Jamie Lee and John Heder heading the movie, no pun intended. You have people like Shannon Elizabeth and Kate from The Office, and then people like Vernon Davis, who's a football player. I would have no idea that he would have been in this film. But there's a lot of good people in this movie.
Now, let me ask you something, Ed. Good people in this movie. Now, what do you think about the execution of this movie?
So, the execution, I do think that maybe with a bigger budget for the film, it might have done a little bit better. One of my main things about the film is, when I say Tubi quality, there's a lot of audio problems and the background music to the movie that I really feel like if they had more invested into that, it probably would have upped the enjoyment level for me in this film. But what do you feel about that?
Look, the movie overall, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was a basic rom-com for me, with some dry humor elements, sprinkled on the top of it, you got certain things like humor elements, like I was just saying, that actually made me laugh, and I think you brought that up earlier, like you were laughing in this film, and it actually had me shocked that I was, because I'm gonna be honest, there are some very like cringy parts in this film where I was like, ugh, like, but then there were some really funny parts where, like, for example, when she said that he looking like Steve from Blue's Clues, and I was like, who? I was like, yes, like something like that. But do I feel like this movie had that creativity factor for me? No, I don't feel like it was really there. I felt like I was able to know what was going to happen in the movie. Like, I already knew that he was not going to be the dad based off of the summary and the trailer and stuff like that. He wasn't going to be the dad. She chooses someone else. And then afterwards, she's going to end up liking him and being like, oh, you know what? You know, he is going to be the father. It's going to be great, you know, like something like that. So I knew that was going to happen. It didn't catch me off guard. But like I said, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Overall, would I watch it again? Probably not. But overall, I can't remember. How did you feel about the movie?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same mindset as you. There's a lot of things, like I said already, with the music, a lot
Mhm.
of editing styles that they did. There's a lot of jumping around in the story. Um, right, there's a lot of
The
jumping.
jumping around was
Yeah,
driving me insane. I could not focus on like one part because it would be right onto the next sequence, and I was like, well, what just happened in this scene?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And they'll say it's like 2 weeks have passed, 3 weeks have passed, and then you're trying to keep up like where they are. All of a sudden, she's ready to give birth. So they're jumping around a lot and trying to put so much into not that much time in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of hurts a little bit as well. And then some of the scenes were a bit cringy, like the band scene at the end. And I guess the overall concept of her kind of planting the whole pregnancy on another guy, like that's some red flag stuff. And you have some of that dark humor to cover up some of those like messier topics in the film. So I get that, but overall, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I've watched it. It was okay. Would I watch it again? Probably not.
My only thing too, like when it came to moving on pretty quickly, I feel like we would be more connected with the story if that scene didn't just like end so abruptly and then her be like, oh yeah, I'm breaking up with you, you're not the father, da 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 da. And I was like, well, there goes the story.
Mhm.
Like, I just felt like there could have been more.
But there is the whole underlying, lesson of, it's better to not tell a lie, because the lie becomes another one and another one, and it's just going to get harder and harder
Mhm.
to eventually tell the truth. So that aspect of the film, I really do feel like they did portray that really well. Because you got the part where like she's trying to tell the truth, and all of a sudden another thing pops up, and then another thing as well with Cameron at the end of the movie, and it's just like you got no choice but to rip the band-aid off. So it did come out of nowhere, but like she was kind of left with no choice at that point. So I get that sense of direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall though, we want to know what you guys have to say about this movie. If you liked it, if you didn't, whatever your thoughts are, definitely leave them in the comments down below. We'd love to have that conversation with you guys.
And if you have any other suggestions on any other movies you want us to review, like we just did for this one, please leave a comment down below so we can turn your idea into reality.
And thank you guys so much for joining us today on Distant Critics.
Thank you.